Tell me all about Easton and his regression. What happened?
Easton was 2 years old and started to lose some speech. And so we started speech therapy, and we saw some doctors, and he received an autism diagnosis. And he gained all of his speech back, and he was right on par where he should be for all of his skills. And 2 years later, at 4 years old, he started to lose all of his speech.
At that point, he was communicating like a typical 4-year-old?
Yes. Was talking to us, reading stories, singing songs, was able to communicate his needs, just right on par for a 4-year-old. It was within a couple months he had lost his speech, the ability to eat, the ability to drink. He had to get a feeding tube. He started having seizures and lost the ability to sleep normally. Went from sleeping 8 to 10 hours a night to maybe 1 to 2 hours a night. Everything became a safety concern, our whole house. Everything in his environment became a safety concern. He started eloping constantly, so we had to get locks on our doors. We had to build a wall in our kitchen to keep him safe, because every single thing that we had was a danger.
So you set this up.
Yeah, this was our...
This is our temporary safety wall.
Yeah.
What will he do if he gets out of this little safety area you created?
So Easton will go in the kitchen, and he could get into the drawer with the knives. He could get one out and run and fall and get hurt, or he could get into the water or the cleaning stuff under the sink, put it in his mouth, would go to the bathroom, climb into the tub and turn the water on. He's actually done that before. Run out the front door, run into the streets.
This is all stuff he's done?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was he like that prior to the regression at 4 years old?
Not at all.
No,
not at all.
No.
Our house was free. Like
Yeah,
nothing was safety guard. No one had to keep a constant eye on him. All of that just like changed drastically.
How would you describe the way his personality and mood changed after this regression?
He completely changed his expressions, the way he plays, basically everything. His whole world. It's just like a different kid, totally. He's basically just a shell of his old self. Honestly, that's the way I would describe it. Just a totally new kid that it looks like Easton, but it's not Easton.
He went from happy, smiley, laughing, playing, to angry, upset, crying, inconsolable. Just a totally different child.
Did he show any frustration about this regression? Did he process that it happened?
I feel like he did, because he started with the inconsolable crying and the agitation, and just nothing would try to cheer him up.
How did his communication change after the regression?
Drastically. He used to be able to talk to us, communicate his needs, sing songs, play games. He had average speech for a 4-year-old, and he lost every single bit of that.
How old is he today?
9.
Hi, Easton. It's nice to meet you, Easton. Are you enjoying SpongeBob over there? Is that a pretty typical response when people try to communicate with Easton?
Yes.
Yeah, even with us.
Yes.
Even if I'm trying to get his attention, that's what he does right there. It's like, on my time, I will look at you and I will acknowledge you, but he doesn't like to really interact with any of his siblings, any kid for that matter, whatever age they are, whoever they are. He doesn't like to interact with them. He kind of likes to keep to himself and just kind of do his own thing. And which really is just mainly on his iPad or watching TV. That's really all he likes to do, honestly.
All of his siblings used to play football, Little League, and he used to go to all the practices and games, and he loved that. And now he can't do any of that because he can't handle being around people and the noise and the crowds. So it's mainly we're stuck here at home.
What has the search for answers taught you?
It's been a long road. We went to Boston Children's Hospital. We went to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, along with his neurologist here in Oklahoma, his primary care physician here in Oklahoma, his GI here in Oklahoma. Everything's come back to basically a dead end. It's everybody everywhere we go. It's always we don't know what it is. We can't pinpoint it. They've run several tests. He's been poked and prodded on so much, and still really there's still an undiagnosed undiagnosed next to his name, and it's really frustrating.
What was that like?
Devastating, because you don't want an answer, but you do want an answer. You don't want your kid to be diagnosed with something, but whenever your child has lost every single thing that they used to have, even the person that they used to be, you want to put a name to it, just to have a name. I'm not expecting Easton to have a recovery overnight or a magical pill that will fix him. I just want to know a name for what he has going on so I can relate to someone else. If there's another family that has a child that has what Easton has, then I can be able to speak to this person. I'll feel so alone with what we're going through.
We also had geneticists tell us that there could possibly be. They told us that there's been that they find different gene mutations every year. So his may not be founded yet. We've been told 10 to even 20 years they could find it. They're all constantly finding new stuff. So with that being said, that's not really encouraging. But a lot of doctors do think that it's some kind of gene mutation that Easton has.
Just one that hasn't been discovered.
One that hasn't been discovered, correct.
Was his regression strictly pertaining to communication, or did it impact other areas as well?
Oh, every area. Communication, sleeping, his aggression, agitation, the way we used to be able to go out and eat as a family, go to the movies, go to the park. We can't do any of that anymore. I mean, absolutely nothing. I can't tell you the last time we went out to eat as a family. We just try not to take. So the last time we went out was our oldest son's high school graduation, which was 2 years ago. We took Easton, and he has a wheelchair, and we strapped him down in the wheelchair, and it's basically for his safety. And it was rough. It was rough, but we got through it.
Can you tell me a little bit about what happens in those situations?
So Easton he doesn't like being around a lot of people and loud noises. He does not like that at all. So he gets agitated. He starts crying, whining. He tries to tip his chair over. We'll give him something to drink or something to eat, some kind of snack. He'll throw it. Any kind of toy, he'll throw it. He just causes a scene. Everybody looks at us.
If I'm too close to him, he'll start attacking me.
Yes, yeah.
What do these attacks look like?
Hitting, pinching, scratching, slapping, yanking on me.
Was there ever any physical aggression before this regression at 4 years old?
None at all.
No.
None at all.
Do you still search for answers?
I do. I always read everything. Anytime I see a story about a child or anything that has to do with neurological things, seizures, I hope one of these days that I'll find an answer, and I haven't given up yet.
Does Easton sleep?
Easton sleeps. There's been times he's went 3 days without sleeping.
3 days of no sleep is the point where a human starts to have hallucinations. Has he showed any symptoms of possibly experiencing that?
Yes. He starts like maniacally laughing. becomes really agitated and aggressive, and will attack us constantly whenever he's gone that long without sleep. It takes sometimes 10 hours of medications for him to finally go to sleep. But here at home, there's not really much we can do. We just have to try to survive it. And when he's like that, he's not really safe for everyone to be around. So it's mainly keeping him in an area and the rest of the family in another area. So it's like I'll be in here with Easton trying to keep him safe while brother and everybody else is in the other side of the house, because Easton's so triggered. Anything can set him off whenever he's gone that long without sleep.
Also the crying. He's cried for probably about 4 hours straight, nonstop.
Yeah.
Like just cry. And we've actually videoed probably 30 minutes of that from time to time. It's unconsolable, uncontrollable, just nonstop crying.
We basically feel like we're on an island by ourselves. And it's very lonely.
What can other people do to help? Maybe people in your community.
If you see us out in public with Easton, don't stare. You can ask questions. I'm totally open to answer questions about Easton. I actually would prefer it instead of staring. Just come talk to us. Easton's a little boy. He might be different. He might not be able to speak to you or hold a conversation, but he's still our son, and he's a little boy, and he deserves to be treated like that. He's not something to be stared at or treated differently. So that would be a huge difference if people would just stop staring and just treat us like a normal family. Our life is the opposite of normal, so we just want to feel somewhat normal sometimes. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm in a circus and my son's an act. I'd appreciate if people wouldn't stare at us like that, because that's the opposite of what our life is. And, a conversation would be nice instead of eyes on us constantly.
When your child regresses and becomes somebody who you've described as different than he was originally, do you ever learn to cope with that? Is it always there? Are you always mourning it?
Yeah, when you think about it, I try not to think about it too much. I always try to think about the positive, and like I said, I'm always hopeful that we can find something. But when you said think about it, yeah.
It never leaves my mind, ever.
Yeah.
Every single day, even online, like you get on social media and you see other parents of children the same age as Easton that were born around the same time, and you see what they're doing and all the good things that they're achieving, and you're happy for them, but you're sad at the same time, because your child, their life is nothing even close to what it could be.
Does he gravitate towards you often?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He's a mama's boy. Are you fixing my hair? Huh?
It must be quite the contrast that he is a mama's boy. He can be affectionate, but he can also attack you.
Yes. And that's hard, because I have to remind myself that Easton's still in there, and I can't take it to heart, but it's hard to not take it to heart whenever you're going through this. It's hard to not get upset or sad whenever your child attacks you, because it's very sad, because I just want him happy, and I can't do that in the moment.
It's been 5 years since its regression.
Yes.
Do you still hold out hope for some type of solution?
We don't expect anything to be fixed, but what we want is, we want to know what exactly is going on and what to expect for his future and our future. That's what we really want to know. We don't expect any kind of miracle for him to be better one day. We don't expect that, but we would like to know what exactly what he's got going on, and what to expect moving forward. His future and our future.
It must be pretty hard to plan for the future without those answers.
Yeah, we can't.
We literally live day to day.
We do.
We live sometimes hour to hour.
That's a fact.
Because of how he feels and how he's doing that day, we cannot base our life past that. So we never can make plans to do anything at all. He goes to work, and outside of that, that's pretty much it. Because his care is so high, and one day he could be good, and the next day he's having seizures or he's not feeling good. He's in pain, and it's like, well, we have to drop everything and we have to go to the hospital. We never can plan for anything.